Welcome to Cordoba, the second largest city in Argentina after Buenos Aires. And where better to start than the heart of the city, Plaza San Martín. And it is a little bit busy. So, Cordoba was founded in 1573 by a Spanish bloke called Jerónimo Luis de Cabrera. And he wasn't actually meant to build it here. He was ordered by the authorities to find a city further north. He basically came to around here and he went, no, this is a bit better. It's got better land for irrigation, better positioning. So he started building it around here. The Spanish authorities were not happy, and then he got executed for building it here. It's a bit of a shame, because if they had a crystal ball and looked into the future, they would have went, yeah, it's not too bad. So San Martin Plaza, you get them all over Argentina, and they're usually in the center, and that is a statue of the man himself on a horseback pointing to somewhere, probably McDonald's. And although I've only been here for less than 24 hours, I am loving this city. It's got a good vibe. Well, then we're going to start over here at the cathedral, and I'm a bit annoyed because there was a guy who was singing his little heart out over there, which is not helping with my video, so I'm trying to keep away from him. So this is the main cathedral here in Cordoba, and it's been around since the late 1500s, which is mad when you think about it. So it was actually started being built in 1598, and it took over 100 years. Part of it collapsed in 1677, so even back then someone was clearly not looking at the plans properly. But it's not just one style, there's a bit of Spanish in there, a bit of Italian, and even the indigenous people who built it put a bit of style in there as well. I'm going to try and get in and have a look around. Beautiful. So I know I'm complaining about the guy that's singing over there, but he's on the other side of the square, and when I passed him earlier, my ears were hurting with his singing, because he's a good singer, but he's loud. So even now, man, be quiet a bit. Right, have a wander in. Seems to be a lot of students in here. Oh, wow. There's an orchestra at the front. Or they might be just packing up. It's beautiful. I'll admit, I've never seen a cathedral look so busy in an afternoon. But when you go down to the front, the altar itself is silver altar, which came from Peru. So there's still colonial wealth around here. Lots of people. So Cordoba started off as a key inland hub between Buenos Aires in the east, Chile to the west, and Bolivia to the north. So it was like the original service station of colonial South America, but a bit posher. Right, that is the town hall. So this is the old town hall of Cordoba. And basically this is where all the decisions were made back in colonial times. But back in the day, this wasn't just offices, it had a jail inside. So you get arrested, and then they dealt with all the paperwork inside. And then with all these arches, in the olden days, there would be shops. And I don't know if you can actually go inside. But this version that is here is from the 1700s, and they have been expanding all through the centuries. I'm only filming now because the guy's taking a bit of a break from his singing. He's like a little rock god doing his own little concert. This is the inside. I don't think I'm allowed to go in. No. So Cordoba is named after the city that's in Spain, which was a little bit confusing for me when I first got here, because trying to book a hostel on booking.com, I nearly ended up in Spain by mistake. Now, because the city sat on a major trade route, people, goods, silver all moving through here, it started getting big. Now, Cordoba is a bit different from other Argentinian cities. It became the intellectual capital of the region thanks to the Jesuits. They set up the National University of Cordoba in 1613, and that makes it one of the oldest universities in the Americas. And I am going to try and get down to the university in the next couple of days to have a look at it. So while other cities in the country were busy trading and fighting, this place was becoming the brains of the country. Now, this here is one of Argentina's oldest banks, set up in the late 1800s to help people buy homes. It was basically created to fix a housing problem in the area, so people could actually afford to buy their own homes. At one point the government had to step in and take control of it, which probably tells you that things got a bit unstable. So yeah, back then mortgages and banks were causing problems. Nothing really changes. And just down there is a city tour bus. So I might have a quick look and see how much that costs. But there's a sign for the plaza. It started in 1577. Very much doubted that had people singing songs in them days. Bit of a shame. It's 20,000 pesos, which is cheap, but it's not a hop-on, hop-off bus. It's basically 1 hour bus ride around, just taking you past all the stops, and it's all in Spanish. They don't have English. Damn. So I'm going to move away from the square and have a look around this part, because this is all the original buildings from years gone by. So this is one of the oldest churches in Cordoba, but this one's a little bit different. It was actually part of a convent, so this would have been a completely closed off religious community. Now everywhere you go around here there are tourist signs telling you exactly what things are, and it's in English, with Church and Convent of San Jose. That is beautiful. Original bells and all sorts. So I've got the camera through the gates. You can see a date up there, 1628. And this would have been the courtyard of the church. I don't know if it's still being used today. And back in the day, Cordoba would have been more important than Buenos Aires. It was richer, it had more influence, and more educated. But then Buenos Aires got a port, and that was game over for Cordoba. So I am a block away from San Martín Square. And that's a university, or part of it. Seems to be a lot of people down here. And there looks like another church. So it looks like students try and get my way through. Definitely students. And then, oh, this is a big church. Right, although the monastery where I've just been is one of the oldest churches, this is the oldest church in Cordoba and is now a UNESCO heritage site. From the outside it does look pretty plain, but inside, if I was allowed in, it is completely different. The ceiling is made of wood and shaped like an upside down ship. Shame I can't get inside though. It's bigger than what I thought it was, standing from the front. And the students are having a proper field day. So next door to the church, this is part of the original university, which is now a museum. And that's big. Right, I want to try and see if I can have a quick look in. Just keep going. Hola, can I go in? See? Gracias. I'm just gonna. Thank you. Oh wow. Look at that. Very nice guards. Is this a museum? Because there's lots of students just hanging around. But yeah, you can see the tower from the church next door. I wonder if that's just an original teacher. Professor. That's what they would have been called. Oh yeah, it is a museum. There's a list of all the places you can go to. While you've got the original university, now the museum down there, at the end, this place here is the National High School from 1687. So education has been taken a lot in this city. Look at the clock tower up there. Oh, is that the time? 4:10. I'm enjoying myself walking around here. And because it's that old, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Right. Everywhere you go it's just busy, but you can get the feel of the history. I'm loving this place. And this is behind the National High School. So from the street, I've just come across this. And this looks like a massive archaeologist dream. It's been a big dig. But this area, this would have been basically the working part of the university, the complex. So you would have had kitchens, workshops, that sort of thing. And it's all over the place. And as you walk around, this would have been where most of the labour force would have been. Wow. There's a lot of it. I can't believe I've been out for about 2.5 hours just walking around. But I think it's time to head back to the hostel. Mainly because I'm hungry. But I am here for a couple more days. I am going to see a lot more of the city, as much as I can. But if you've enjoyed this little video, then all you got to do is press that like button. If you want to see more of Cordoba, then you've got to subscribe. But until the next time, I need to find out which way the hostel is. Bye bye for now.